Toby, can you do that countdown before I come up? Can you do that countdown, Toby? Does it work? Do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah, when all right, guys, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I can see 28 people on stream now. Thank you for joining. Can you just put wherever you're joining from on the chat box, your country and your city? If you're joining us from Nigeria, tell us Lagos, Nigeria. If you're joining us from Canada, you can tell us Ontario, Canada. If you're joining us from England, if you're joining us from Dubai, United Arab Emirates, if you're joining us from Ireland, just put on the comment section that we are live. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Birmingham, England, Mauritius, Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. All right, we got 45 people. Let's invite more people. Let's get it up to 100. Let's get it up to 100. Let's get it up to 100. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm just gonna be shooting the last broadcast on the group now. Welcome everybody. Oh, we have Jacob from Canada. You're welcome, sir. Samuel, you're welcome. Temi Tokbe from Lagos, Nigeria. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. You're welcome. Esther Chidima, Ontario, Canada. You are welcome. Okay. Divine from Anambra, you're welcome. All right. 51 people on live now. Let's get it up to 100. And in the next 1 or 2 minutes, we're going to be kick started. Yeah, I'm just going to share the final reminders. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, we have Udeme Utak. You're welcome, Mr. Udeme, Toronto, Canada. Jumoke from Ondo State, Nigeria. I think we have an admixture of people from Nigeria, England, and UK, especially on the live. We have 61 people. You are all welcome. Thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. All right. Williams from Ontario, Canada. Thank you for joining. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Just shooting out some messages. Okay, we have our guest speaker on board. We're going to be inviting him shortly. All right. We have our speaker here, and we also have some members of Empower Nurses who are going to be joining us on the live tonight as well. Okay, we have 75. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining our caregiver pathway information section tonight. Tonight promised to be very, very interactive, engaging, as well as we're going to be having opportunities to ask questions, share relevant information regarding the newly launched caregiver pathway for people looking forward to obtaining permanent residency in Canada. Whether you are from Nigeria, whether you are outside Canada, whether you are inside Canada, this program is power packed and promised to be very, very informative. If you have anybody who is looking forward to exploring the pathway around this area, please do well to share the link to them We can get as much people as possible on board because we have a very, very seasoned guest joining us tonight. And it's someone that he is very, very exposed and educated when it comes to immigration law, and he has been doing this for so many years. The registered Supreme Court lawyer from Nigeria, the registered barrister and solicitor in Ontario, and of course also a registered lawyer in Alberta. It takes a lot to be a double qualified lawyer in Canada. So he's going to be here tonight. He's going to be giving us 90 minutes for free to educate us, to enlighten us, and to share relevant information regarding the caregivers pathway tonight. All right, guys. Without so much ado, I'm going to be inviting our guest speaker tonight. It's no other person than Peter Ademu. So before I bring him up, I want to see the fire emoji on the comment section. Let's have the fire emoji. Let's have the fire emoji. I want to see the fire emoji on the comment section. Fire emoji. Where is it at? Let's have the fire emoji. Fire emoji. Just type the fire emoji on the comment section. And we're going to bring it up Mr. Peter right away. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can see the fire. Different fire on board. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Mr. Peter, you're welcome. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you. You're just making me blush out here. Me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really, 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 really happy to see you giving us an opportunity to share your wealth of experience and joining information tonight. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Peter. We really, really appreciate you. All right, guys, please let's keep the fire emoji coming from Mr. Peter and let's appreciate Mr. Peter. Okay, all right. So without wasting much time, we're going to be introducing Mr. Peter. So, Mr. Peter, if you don't mind, if you want to tell us about yourself and your what you do, your law firm and everything.
Yeah, that's all right. So
All
thank
right.
you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be speaking with such educated and essential people. I know that a lot of your audience are nurses or caregivers, in this field. So you guys are doing such important work, and I'm just happy to be here. So a little about me. I trained as a lawyer originally in Nigeria. This is my, I want to say, 12th or 13th year at the bar. And I moved to Canada as an international student. I got my master's degree at Osgoode Hall, which was at the time probably the best law school in Canada. But events have overtaken us. U of T has pushed Osgoode Hall to the side
Hmm.
in recent times. Yes, when I finished my master's degree, I worked with barrister Kingsley J. Sorobo,
Oh,
who,
wow.
oh yeah, I worked with him for about 3 years.
Oh,
And Barrister KJ is one of the best, if not the best.
yeah, absolutely. 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 Yeah.
Yes, I spent 3 years with him, and he's still a mentor to me. I feel honored when he calls me sometimes to ask me questions, and I know that I can always ask him questions. I run to him sometimes too when there's something I feel is a little bit complex.
Yeah.
After that, I worked with PricewaterhouseCoopers in their global immigration law department. I also worked with Visa Place. And after that, I figured, what, it's best for me to set up my own thing. So I
Absolutely.
thanks. I set up my immigration practice in 2019. I first qualified as an RCIC.
Okay.
Um, then my friend and I we set up our law firm in Toronto.
Wow.
This was in 2021, and I'm going to say what expanded. We have a location in Toronto, one in Calgary, one in Abuja, and very soon our office in Leeds in the UK is going to open.
Wow.
So
Congratulations. 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 And for those of you who are in the live who doesn't know, Mr. Peter here was the lawyer who actually handled my permanent residency application. So I'm not bringing somebody who I just, oh, Fabi, I saw on LinkedIn or I saw on Quora. No, I'm bringing someone who I've worked with, somebody who I know his capability, somebody who makes the most difficult situation simple and get result out of it. So, guys, you are with the best guy when it comes to immigration law in Canada. So you guys should really, really take advantage of this moment, ask your question, and make sure you get feedback at the end of the day. Okay. So thank you once again, Mr. Peter. So yeah, talking about the Canada caregiver pathway. This happened to be the very first time we're actually seeing an explicit direct caregiver to permanent residency pathway. Before now, we used to hear of the home support program and the home child support program. Why exactly is Canada introducing this opportunity right now for healthcare workers?
Okay, well, I would say the reason is that we saw a very lengthy process in time
Okay.
in the past. So yes, there was a in the past you had to apply, and then the first stage was to get a work permit to come and work for this person, and then spend 2 years working in Canada, and then you get a PR. But those applications tended to take an average of 3 years. I know some clients who are still waiting for their work permit today, as of today.
Wow.
They're still waiting. Another thing is that for many caregivers, it put them in a position where they were being abused by their employers. So
Mm.
sometimes you bring someone to Canada, they tell you we're going to pay you X amount of money, and then when you get here, you discover they're not paying you what they said they would, or you're working for more than one employer. So to remove all this red tape, you know, okay, there's some clients who apply to bring in a caregiver to take care of their elderly parents, but the parent passed away,
Mm-hmm.
the application could be done. So there are so many complications. Families lost sometimes $4,000 because the whole family was applying uh,
Okay.
to come to Canada. So there were lots of complaints, there were lots of consultations done, and the government decided, you know what, let's give this a shot to say, why don't we give them PR just like we give to pretty much every other stream
Wow.
that they're qualified. They've already qualified, they can meet the requirements that we have here, and they have a job waiting for them.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes, I always say this to clients, whether it is not this stream you're going to go through, keep this at the back of your mind. Canada is looking in general for a specific kind of person. Number one, somebody who can add value to the country.
Yeah.
So always keep that in your mind. If you're not able to add value to Canada, you have no business wasting your time and your money applying for something you might not get.
Mm.
Number two, Canada is not looking for someone to come here and enjoy. Okay, they're not anybody's friend. The so-called enjoyment that people enjoy is paid for by taxpayer money. All the benefits, and I know Etios, he has been experiencing it too. You work so much, and a lot of your money goes towards taxes. So nobody just wants to give that money away for free.
True.
Therefore, Canada is looking for people who can easily integrate that. As soon as you come here, you're on your own, you're working, you're taking care of yourself, and you're contributing to the system that you're enjoying from.
Yeah.
So keep those two things in mind. If you ever see any immigration program that promises you quick results without you doing anything, it is very, very likely a scam. Take that for free.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Mr. Peter, I'm just going to let you take it away from here. I know you have a very, very detailed presentation regarding this subject matter, and our participants and our guests will be happy to have you take it away from here. Meanwhile, we have 150 people, and we hope to get much more before the end of the program. Thank you so much, sir.
That's wonderful. So I'm just going to do a screen share.
Okay, all
Try
right.
to simplify this presentation so that we don't get stuck.
All right. Okay, thank you.
So please let's go ahead. I'm going to just introduce this. I believe that many people who are on this stream already have an idea what we are here to do. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the pathway, as like Prince said, is just to help people to get permanent residence in Canada if you have work experience in this field. And it is still based on those two principles I mentioned. Number one, you're coming to add value to this country. And number two, you're able to take care of yourself, meaning you have secured a job offer. So, one question people generally ask, who is included, or what is this healthcare pathway? In the past, the home care provider pilots have focused on NOC 44101, which is for home support workers, caregivers, and related occupations.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at the page, I'm going to post this link in the chat. If you, oh, I'm not able to. So maybe I'll send it to the admins.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So if you want, you can go back and look at this. It's important to know what is included and what is excluded. So you can look at all the example titles: attendants, family caregivers, home support workers. It doesn't quite matter what the job title is. Okay. What really matters is that you have performed the functions that are described in this NOC listing. I will also scroll down this page so that we see the duties you're supposed to perform. If you perform these duties, which usually IRC wants you to have performed most of them, if not all of them. Okay. So there's some people who might be willing to apply, but they're scared to say, "Oh, I've only done 4 out of 5." 4 out of 5 is still acceptable. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Now, um, so caregivers under this group, they provide care and companionship for individuals and families during periods of incapacitation, convalescence, or family disruption. Generally, if people are ill or they can't take care of themselves because of illnesses, or sometimes disruption could be that someone has passed away, in the family. Disruption could be that a family is splitting apart due to divorce or something, and in that interim, they need someone to perform functions like, the other duties I'll say here. So they administer bedside and personal care to clients, such as aiding ambulation, bathing, personal hygiene, dressing and undressing. Now, they also plan and prepare meals and special diets, or they help in feeding the clients. So whether you're done preparing the meals or you are, oh, I see a comment that people are not able to see what is being shared.
Yeah, maybe we can just zoom a little more.
Oh, for me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's. I think it's better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh, I see. It's the NOC code is what is not okay. I'm just gonna change the sharing method. Okay, just a second, please.
Yes. All right.
All right, I believe this is on now. Yes. So these are the responsibilities of the caregiver that we're talking about. All right. So to provide care and companionship, they administer bedside and personal care, which can include help in ambulation, moving or transferring people to like a wheelchair, or transferring them from the wheelchair to the bed and all that. You might plan or prepare meals and special diets. They may perform other health-related duties, such as changing non-sterile dressings, assisting in administering medications, or collecting specimens. And if you're performing these functions, it is usually under the direction of your home care supervisor or a nurse. Okay. Now, it may also include performing housekeeping duties like laundry, washing dishes, and making beds. Okay. So one important thing to note is that if you don't perform substantially most or all of these functions, it can be a ground why an application is rejected. And this is one reason why um, this is one reason why we always encourage people that when you are getting your letter of support, or your employment confirmation, your duties need to be clearly stated. They need to be as explicit as possible. All right. We'll get there. I don't know, has the link been shared in the group?
Okay. You said it on my what?
I
Is it
sent
possible to?
in the chat, in the private chat.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So the link will be shared.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you can refer to this afterwards. Long and short, to summarize, okay, you provide care for people, you administer care, such as helping them to bathe, perform personal hygiene tasks. You might help to cook or plan their meals, or help to feed the person you're taking care of. And you might help, to change maybe some non-sterile dressings, like I guess bandages. A bandage is considered sterile.
Bandages. Not sterile bandages mostly.
Okay, fantastic. So yes, they may help to administer medications which have already been prescribed, and they may perform, your routine housekeeping duties. Okay. Now, in terms of the educational requirements for this program specifically, you're required to have a minimum of high school. Although the NOC listing says some high school is usually required for this program, okay, you need to have at least a high school qualification. Now, if you're a nurse, okay, if you're a nurse, you probably already meet those requirements, okay. Now, they may say you might need some home management experience to be able to do this kind of a job. You might need to have done some other courses. And I keep emphasizing this, it is not mandatory, okay, for this program that you must have done PSW courses specifically. And that's because this task, you can see how simple or how direct the tasks are. Okay. First aid training may be required. I recommend it, even though it is not listed as mandatory for this program. Please, if you can get it, get it. If you've done a training or a program, about caring for older people or people with disabilities, so even people who are developmental support workers can also be brought under this category if they were performing that function at home, especially like respite workers. So I know some people who like do applied behavioral analysis, right? Or some people who are assistants and they go to the homes to relieve the parents, from taking care of the kids for special needs kids at home. Um, that is something you need to do. So the link is up in the chat, and this is just a link to the government's description of the role. Okay, I wanted to go through that so we all just know what is expected. Now, how many people are we looking at? The truth is, right now, nobody knows 100% for sure. The reason is that the government has not yet released any specific numbers. Okay? There's no specific number, but CIC News, one of the websites that usually seems to get information before everybody else, and they've announced that the government is considering 2,750 workers, and they have reserved 150 spots for people who are out of status. Okay, there will be two streams for this application, and the first one, which is opening on March 31st, is targeted to people who are inside Canada, workers who are inside Canada. Now, the experience we're talking about, you could have got the experience anywhere. It doesn't have to have been in Canada. Okay, you could have gotten it on the moon. Nobody cares where it was got, as long as you can prove you have up to that 6 months of experience. Okay. Um, so two streams. The first one opening on March 31st is for people who are in Canada. And so this information will benefit them the most right now. But for those who are applying from outside Canada, it is also likely that the requirements will be similar. Okay, it's likely, but as with programs like this, we have to get the government's direct instructions. And at the end of this, we can also post a link to what the government is saying when it comes to that. Now, so we talked about 6 months of recent home care work experience. All right, either it's in Canada or abroad. You must be able to demonstrate that. In another slide, we're going to talk about what you can do to demonstrate that, demonstrate your work experience. Usually, they look at things like, a job letter from your employer saying this person worked with me, they took care of, either the person who was sick, they performed this function in the patient's home or in their own home. So again, if you took care of the person you took care of was not in their own home, you could have been taking care of them in your own home. And this is very important because I know for many people, the person you've taken care of may have even been a family member. All right. Okay. It could have been a family member. So we have to don't exclude yourself because it was not a formal job. This program also accepts you if you were self-employed as a caregiver. There's some people who, they go, they take care of older women, older men, help them clean their homes, feed them and do all of that because they're too old to take care of themselves or because they're ill. If you have done that, that is qualifying experience, okay? You will just have to be able to prove that you actually did it through job letters, contracts, pay stubs, and all of that. Now, um, for the language requirements, you need to get CLB4. CLB4 in IELTS, I think I'm going to put up the equivalency charts. Um, just give me a second. All right, let me put this up. So to know exactly how much you have to score, okay, in the IELTS, you need a minimum, okay. In your listening, you need to score 4.5, reading 3.5, writing 4.0, speaking 4.0. In other words, if you get at least, let's say 4.5 across the board, you will definitely meet this requirement. You can see that it is quite literally the lowest, is quite literally is the lowest you can possibly have, okay, on a valid IELTS test. So again, language is not going to be a barrier. Okay, you have to get your language test. Now it's going to be either IELTS or CELPIP. It could also be a French test for French speakers. I'm not 100% sure what the conversion is to the TEF or TEF, but please, you can look that up yourself. The CLB equivalency. All right. The third thing you need is that you need a full-time job offer. It could be from a private household or it could be from an organization. And I have to really be specific with this because this particular question caused so many problems for clients in the past. Now, when I say a private individual can give you a job, for example, if Etinosa is um, a caregiver, he can qualify for this program if I offer him a job to take care of maybe a member of my family who's sick, or take care of someone who's recovering, or to take care of somebody who has a developmental disability. Okay, that job offer can come from me. That job offer can also come from a care agency. And when I say a care agency, let's be very careful. A care agency, for the purpose of this program, is one that their primary work is to provide caregivers to clients. Okay. It is not a recruitment agency, and we have to be extremely careful because there'll be a lot of bad information out there. That job offer has to come from a care agency, like a care home that offers this program. All right. Not a recruitment agency, not a temporary workers, supply agency. It's got to be a care home or something similarly named. I really hope that that's clear for everyone. Now, so those are the three things. You need your 6 months of experience, you need your language test, and you need your full-time job offer. When we say full-time, in Canada, full-time is usually regarded as 30 hours per week or more is when full-time starts counting. So you need to get full-time work experience. All right. Thank you for this one. Now let's move on in terms of fees. And this table is specific to people who are inside Canada because Canadians are the one people in Canada are the ones being targeted right now. I see a question about placement, if placement can pass as work experience, and the answer is yes. So to go back here, let me just see if I can. I think I can go back in my slides. To go back to this, right? The experience can be substituted with education. So if you did 6 months of school, all right, if you did 3 months of school and 3 months of working, or if while you were studying you did a placement, as long as you worked in that field and you can get your proof of that, it qualifies. Okay, I hope I've answered your question, Ogechuku. Now, to get to the cost, all right, if you're inside Canada, this is what is required, all right. The fees are $1,050. This $1,050, it will cover your application fee, all right. Uh, I just want to make sure that this is not out of date. Please note that any fee you're seeing here is subject to change, okay? The government changes fees anytime. And because they've not given us a specific um, amount, okay, yet, we're just going by what was prevalent as of the last set, all right? Now, for the caregiver program, the government fees, for the last time. All right. Let me just share the screen so everybody can see it at the same time. So for this, can we all see the screen? All right. So for all these pilots, now you can see that all of them were closed. And these fees are the ones that were enforced before 2025. It is subject to change. All right. Now, the processing fee and right of permanent residence fee was 1,201, and there's the biometric fee of $85. All right. So please let's keep that in mind. Uh, the language test, if you've not taken it already, might cost you. It might cost you about $300, up to $400. The medical exams might cost you about $400. Your police clearance. I want to talk about this police clearance. It's so important because this is another reason why people get refused. They might provide, um, they might provide only one out of two certificates. You're required to provide a police clearance for every country you've lived in for 6 months or more. Okay, since you turned 18. For many people, it's not that difficult because they might have lived maybe only in the UK or only in Nigeria or only in Canada. Um, Please, we need to make sure that we have all. Okay, we need to make sure that we have all the police certificates. The biometrics are also needed even if you're in Canada, even if you've applied for temporary residence already, okay? Because the biometrics for permanent residence is more in depth. They require you to pay that biometric fee if you are just applying for PR for the first time, okay? Now, in terms of medicals, they don't usually require medicals up front because it's towards the end. And if you've been in Canada for up to 6 months, before applying, medicals are not usually requested. But let's see what's going to happen. However, it is possible that you might need to do a medical education. In fact, it is likely that you will need one before your PR is granted. So you can keep this cost in mind. In terms of proof of funds, it depends on your family size. Usually starts about $13,000 for a family of one. But this is subject to update, and the low income cutoff is updated every year. So we have to figure out what is the LICO for this year. Now, these are some of the mistakes that people make, and it leads to being refused. Okay, if you don't provide comprehensive evidence of your 6 months work experience or education, all right, if you don't provide it, there's going to be trouble. We've had clients who they actually did the work. Okay, they did the work. In fact, I was telling Etinos the other day, there was somebody I knew who did the work, won an award as the best caregiver in their province,
Yeah.
and was still denied. And part of why some of the things happen is that sometimes the employers they'll just put very vague duties, like, oh, provided the service of a home support worker, or just put two or three lines. That's why I said, please, it needs to be very detailed. If your job involves taking care of bathing the person, right? Bathing the person, or help showering, help dressing, help getting into shoes. Be as detailed as possible so that it becomes very obvious that you meet the requirements. And you can look at, the NLC for these duties, right? These things can be expanded probably into 16 different duties if you look at it carefully. So if you know you don't meet every single one of them, it's probably in your better interest to be more explicit about the ones that you did meet. It's a common mistake. Please don't fall victim to it. Now, in terms of your languages, please provide a current test report. Don't go and bring a test report that expired before your application. Your IELTS or CELP tests are valid for 2 years after you take them. Okay, so you have to look at the dates, not of the date, not just of the day you took the test, the day the result came out, and you calculate 2 years into the future. All right. Now, you look at also the misrepresentation. I know this is not very common it's not very common in Nigeria, but we saw a lot of issues from India where people were bringing fake IELTS results or results that someone else sat for the exam. The government is taking this thing very, very seriously. So you have to be very careful. If you're going to do the test, make sure that that place has been existing for a while. They're reputable. There's no nonsense going there. Okay. Now, ineligible job offers. Again, if you submit a if you submit a job offer from a recruitment agency, like we spoke about, I'm sure Prince, you may be able to explain this point a bit more. There are some agencies who provide nurses or caregivers to another organization who then assigns them to work with clients. The government is not looking for that. The government is looking for you to be requested. The government is looking for you to be employed directly by the persons you're going to work for. So if you're going to be working for the care home, great. If you're going to be working for an individual, also great. All right. Please, let's check this. Now, if you're not able to prove your history, obviously, that is going to be a problem. All right. Now, to talk about your history, please, let's be clear. Number one, it is perfectly fine if you're self employed. We can't stress this enough. Some people go and start inventing job letters from places that did not work. We've had cases where someone said I was working in this place, and then the immigration officer pulls up your LinkedIn page and discovered you were a bank manager while you were saying that you were a caregiver. No, if you were self-employed, even if it was in your part-time, even if it was on the weekends you were doing it, and you're able to demonstrate 6 months of experience, please, okay, please, check that, okay. Now, if you submit incomplete application packages, you will be refused. And I know it's a lot more difficult to submit an incomplete application, but it still happens. Now, IRCC usually releases a checklist of documents that are required. Okay. Um, so to Alex, yes, part-time experience works. Also, if your part-time experience can add up to 6 months. All right. Now, there are some things that you always need to add. If you got your education outside Canada, you need an educational credential assessment, an ECA. Okay? Let's start with that. Please get your ECA. If you've not already gotten it and you're outside Canada, this is the time to do so. All right. Even though they said they want a minimum of secondary school, if you have higher than secondary school, please go ahead and get it. Assess that credential. Okay? It's going to be required. Sometimes something as simple as the person did not upload their birth certificate leads to applications being returned. And if the application is returned, you know how much it's going to cost you, to to resubmit that application. Please, we have to look at the checklist. There's a PDF checklist that can be downloaded from the government's portal. There's also a checklist in the PR application itself where you can download this information from. So whether you're doing it yourself, you're working with a lawyer, make sure that every single document has been included. Okay. If you are uploading documents, make sure that you're naming the documents according to what it is. Some people sometimes, and I think I told Prince this, some people will upload a document and you see image 2225. Many immigration officers are not patient enough. They may not even open it. They may just say this person didn't upload what we asked them for.
Yeah.
Right? If you have multiple family members, you need to put each person's documents separately. Don't go and combine everybody's passports into one file. No. If Etinosa is my brother, I say, okay, Etinosa Prince Will, great. International passport. Peter Ademoyete, international passport. You need to be very explicit. That's one way to make sure that you don't miss anything out. Okay. Now, if you're, and I say this because some people are applying alone, some of them who are applying with family members. If you have family members, you need to be, number one, prove their relationship with you. So if I'm applying and I have a wife, I have to include my marriage certificate to that wife. Okay, it must be clear. They must be readable. You know, I upload that to show that yes, this is my wife. If I'm saying that these are my children who I'm bringing as my co-sponsors, their birth certificates must be there. All right, and a bunch of other documents, right? There's a longer checklist which when we have clients, all right. One moment. Yeah, so when you have clients, when you have other family members, we can sit down and review this list in detail with you. But just know that majority of documents that are required from you will also be required from your family members. For example, everybody is going to need a medical test. You can't escape that one. Okay? Everybody who is 18 years or above um, will also need a police clearance at some point in this process. Okay, so please keep that in mind. What else? Everybody's going to need their own passport to be able to travel. Everyone will need that. You can't avoid it. And those are generally the documents that may be needed from every single person. The other documents where if someone is a spouse, you need it. There are documents where if your family members are in Canada, then we have to prove their immigration status. Things like okay, I see some questions. I'll get to that shortly. Um, so you don't we don't need to provide these documents when you're applying. As much as possible, we have to provide a complete package. Now, there's some things that you may not exactly have at the time you're applying. Let's say you've applied for a police report, right? And it is not out at the time you're applying. What we typically do for our clients is that you know, we, oops, my apologies. What we usually do is that we provide an explanation about why they don't have that specific document. Now, I see some questions about the documents. I'll start with the IELTS. Whether it's Canada accepts IELTS or CELPIP for the English language test. Those are the two acceptable tests. Okay, if that changes, they will publish that. You can. It doesn't matter whether it's UK visa office or Australian visa office. As long as it's IELTS general or CELPIP general, it is going to be accepted. In terms of the police report, it has to be a fingerprint search. Okay, mind that wherever you are, it's going to be fingerprint search, and then it goes, to the federal database. They're going to check the federal database of that country to make sure that you don't have any criminal issues outstanding against you. Even if you have committed a crime in the past or you've been to jail, it doesn't mean you can't qualify for this program. Okay, there are certain rules around rehabilitation or waiving past criminality if you qualify. I really can't go into those details within the short context of this presentation, so I will move ahead. Now, um, I want us to go to the steps of what to be needed, okay? Number one, please gather all the requirements, including your proof of work experience, like we spoke about. And to recap, that job letter has to mention your name specifically, who you worked for, when you worked for them. Were you working, 20 hours per week, or 30 hours per week? They have to specify. All right. You also need to make sure that the job letter specifies all your duties that you performed and make sure that those duties can be justified against the NOC 44101, like I've shown you. Again, the link is in the application. Now, I always advise people when you're making an application to Canada, please, 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 please consult a professional. Now, you are 100% free to do this by yourself, and there are many people who do this by themselves and they're successful. But because these programs are becoming increasingly rare, I'm sure you've all seen that Canada keeps slashing immigration targets, right? Slots keep reducing. Because of that, these applications are scrutinized very seriously. Okay, it's not like before when an officer might see something that's amiss and say, okay, let's just ask them for let's send a letter so that they can provide this document that is missing.
Yeah,
This,
EDR.
if an application is missing from your package, it will be returned to you as incomplete. Okay. Now, so please, you can get an immigration lawyer, you can get a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, an RCIC. I guess we can also share links to those agencies. If you're working with somebody, please verify that they are licensed. Please verify that they're licensed because many people are falling prey to so-called fake agents. They take your money, they put applications for you, but they will never sign their name on those applications. They will never take responsibility for it. That is a problem. Okay, don't go and spend your money and then not get value for it. All right. Now, we have to stay informed. I have given general information based on what is available and based on what we have known in the past. Okay. But with IRCC, as you probably all know, things change very, 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 very quickly. Just today, the immigration minister just was changed. And
Yeah.
as Etinos pointed out, this is like the third immigration minister we've had in 3 years. Every time somebody comes in, they have their own agenda, they have their own understanding of how the system should work. So we have to stay informed, okay? Now, there are other settlement services also. If you know you're not great at English, or you know you don't understand the financial system, you know, or you don't know what the rights of workers are in Canada, you don't know what the laws around certain things are, this is the time to do your research. Okay, please, 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 please use the resources that are available to you. And finally, we'll say, please, you have to be patient. This is one quality that if you don't have it, the Canadian immigration system will frustrate you. The last program that took about 3 years, 3 years, and that was too long. Okay, the fact that you submitted an application and oh, sorry, okay, the fact that you submitted an application and you've not heard anything does not mean anything. Okay, if you've not heard from IRCC, it's because they've not made a decision or they don't need anything from you. So I'll say, please don't be harassing your lawyer or your consultant or whoever is handling that application for you. Okay, it is very, very needed. It's very useful to be patient. By rushing, sometimes people go and complicate things for themselves. We've seen situations where a client, because they feel that the application is not moving fast enough, they call immigration and start screaming at the agents. That's not going to help you in any way. Or sometimes some people send web forms every day. I'm not joking. I've had a case like this. Client was sending web forms every day. And when we got the GCMS notes, I told her specifically, I said, Madam, can you see this? All these things you were sending, they were not added to your file because IRCC said these are duplicates. So from 3 months ago, you're just wasting your efforts. Let's not be victims to that.
Uh,
Okay?
Sir,
Now,
we have one important question before I allow you
okay.
continue. So the person is asking, sir, how can I get to Canada in 3 months?
In 3 months,
Yeah.
well, 3 months is not likely. There's rarely any timeline, unless maybe you're coming through the global talent stream. Um, Global talent stream, yes, you can get your application processed in 2 weeks, but that is a very different stream, which is not the focus of our application. It's usually for very highly skilled workers in the tech industry, and you have a company that wants to pay you at least about $84,000 a year, and they can't find somebody in Canada who wants to do that job for 84K a year. That stream, yes, you can come in. It takes 2 weeks to process the work permit application.
Yeah, that was just on the lighter entertainment because I mean it's very, very difficult. So please, thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Please let's give the Canada emoji. If you know you are ready to get to Canada, let's see the emoji. Let's have Canada flag on the comment section. Canada flag on the comment section. Canada flag on the comment section. We're going to be inviting Mr. Peter to come again, but in the meantime, let's put a Canada flag on the comment section. We're going to be taking some questions and right now. So, but let's put the Canada flag. If you want to go to Canada, if you're already in Canada, let's put the Canada flag on the comment section. All right, Kelechi. Okay, thank you very much, Ekua. Thank you very much, Chioma. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we already had some. I mean, first of all, I just want to highlight how special this section is because through this, a lot of people have been watching TikTok videos, watching YouTube videos, and some people have actually like been doing their own personal research. But it's always very, very important to run this through with someone who has competence, who has the right experience as well as requirement to actually guide you and run you through this. Mr. Peter, right here, you would not get Mr. Peter. I can assure you, even on even on call, I've known Mr. Peter for 1 year and I've only had a phone call with him once. I, for the past 1 year I've known him, I've only had the privilege to have a phone call with him once. Even with my application and everything, I couldn't. You have to communicate with him via email. So, and if you must sit with Mr. Peter to have a discussion, to have clarification, definitely it's not going to just say, okay, come on, let me talk to you. No, you have to pay a consultation fee. And it starts from 30 minutes, half an hour to 1 hour. But today is giving us 90 minutes for free. So, guys, I really want you guys to really appreciate Mr. Peter and really, really take advantage of this time that we have with him this evening. So, sir, I'm going to be asking some very, very important questions. Some people send these questions through the registration form we use for this program. So, the first one states, because I'm trying to focus on those who are actually inside Canada
Mhm.
first. Yeah. So it says, sir, if I apply for this application for this caregiver pathway and my application is submitted, meanwhile my work permit is expiring in May, will I be on implied status on submission of this application?
Um, Typically, no. All right. No, you still need to either find a way to extend that application, or find a way to extend your work permit either through an employer specific work permit. All right.
Oh, okay.
Submitting a peer application does not extend your status.
It doesn't make you on implied status, like okay, you submit an application.
Implied status is under Regulation 186. That is when you're either moving from a study permit to a work permit,
Okay,
or from a work permit to another work permit, or from a study
okay,
permit to another study permit. It doesn't go into the PR application categories.
okay,
You apply for an extension, you stay on that status until you receive a decision,
okay.
IRCC. There is what is called the bridging open work permit.
Yeah.
Okay. That may be available to you if, and depending on how quickly IRCC works. So if you submit your application now and IRCC um, sends you an acknowledgement and they say, okay, yes, we find that you are eligible, we're processing your application,
Okay.
once you get that sort of stage one clearance, you can now apply for a bridging open work permit.
Okay, so thank you very much, sir, for that. So the second one is that if I apply for this process, can I come with my family? Is there any support for my family to come with me?
Yes, you can come with your family, but bear in mind that that could now incur like proof of funds. All right. So typically, if somebody is coming for PR on a job offer basis, usually you don't require proof of funds for jobs like that. But then that job offer is for you. If you're coming with family members, be ready. Be ready to demonstrate that you can take care of them. Again, IRCC will receive will they're going to issue more specific rules for people outside Canada. Okay,
Okay.
people in Canada is usually the other way around. If you have a job, you're working, you have pay stubs, they would usually not look at proof of funds. If you're coming from outside Canada, that's a whole relocation. Moving your family, you need to find a house and all that. You are allowed to bring them. Okay,
Yeah.
not everybody will have to pay their own fees in this application. So the more family members you bring, they have to pay fees. If you are concerned right now, maybe I may not be able to do proof of funds for everyone, right? Then you can take the offer, get your PR, and then you can sponsor your spouse and dependent children to come and join you after you've become a permanent resident.
Yeah, absolutely. That works too.
Yes,
True.
that is
Yeah.
always open.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine, sir. So this person is asking that basically, I am outside Canada. Can I actually apply for this? Am I qualified to apply for this?
No, you can't apply for this right now. If the one that's opening on March 31st is strictly for people who are inside Canada,
Okay.
whether they have immigration status or not. So this could even help people who are like maybe failed refugees, okay, or people who came as workers or students, they've worked and now they're out of status. It's not going to stop you from applying as long as those slots for out of status workers have not been taken uh, up. Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'll just taking some questions from those that sent in their questions very early enough online. So just a quick recap of what Mr. Peter said for those that missed it. Number one, the key thing is that you need to meet the requirement for application on this program. So this program is in two stream. So when the government of Canada announced this program, they said we're going to be having a stream for those who are inside Canada to apply, which is actually opening on the 31st of March. I also have another category for those who are outside Canada. So for those who are inside Canada, a date have been set. But for those who are outside Canada, there have not been any announced date for application. So for you, if you are outside Canada, what you should be doing right now is to start gathering the requirements, start getting access to this document that you need to apply. So I'm not going to go through the list of documents you need to apply again. The first thing here is that you should have proof of proficiency of English. Canada is an English and French speaking country. Okay, it's an English and French speaking country. So you should have a CLB benchmark of Canada of 5, which means you should have your listening 4.5, reading 3.5, writing 4.0, and reading 4.0. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So 4.5, 3.5, 4.0, and 4.0. I think everybody on this stream can actually get that very, very easily. And again, it should be IELTS general, not academic, not UKVI. Okay, the IELTS should be IELTS general. And secondly, the IELTS should not be more than 2 years. Okay, so if you wrote your IELTS in June 2021, it should be expired by now. In 2022, it should be expired by now. So from the date you wrote the IELTS to the day you submit your application, it shouldn't be more than 2 years. So please take note of that. Very, very important. Then the second requirement you need to have after meeting your English proficiency is to have a proof of high school certification, meaning that you've completed high school, you finished secondary school, what we call WAEC, NECO, or SSC in Nigeria. If you can show that you have proof of high school completion, which is very, very necessary as well. Then also you should show that you have work experience in care, or you should have completed 6 month program that offer you a certification in healthcare. For example, there's a certification called Adult Health and Social Care offered by many organizations in Nigeria, in Canada, in UK. So let's say, for example, you've never worked in care before, but if you completed this adult health and social care program, you are automatically qualified, because in this health and social care program, it is expected that it is a combination of teaching in class as well as clinical posting. So they believe that during your process of actually getting this level 3 health and social care, you actually went for clinical placement for at least 2 or 3 months. Okay, so if you can show that, okay, you have a qualification that took you 6 months to obtain, or you've been working in the care sector. So care sector basically means nursing home. You've been caring for your family member. You've been working in a retirement home. You've been doing one-on-one direct care and things like that. So that can actually be used as your work experience. And finally, you should have completed an education's credential assessment, which we call ECA. For nurses, you basically use the WES evaluation or the ICAS evaluation or the University of Toronto if you have a bachelor's of nursing science. And the most difficult requirement here is actually the job offer. That's what everybody have been talking about. Oh, Prince will find a way to get us employers, find a way to get us agency to actually provide job offer. So we're gonna talk about that some other before the end of this program and during the question as well. So those are the requirements: English proficiency, work experience, high school certificate, job offer, as well as your ECA evaluation. Then who can apply? Those inside Canada as well as those outside Canada. But for now, a date for those inside Canada have been set. All right. Then the good news is that you do not need in Canada work experience for this. This is like one of the first time where you actually applying for anything in Canada. They'll tell you that okay, you don't need to have Canada work experience. Even people who are inside Canada Many people cannot get job because they don't have Canada work experience. But now many people are going to be coming from Nigeria, from Philippines, from Nepal, from Pakistan, and you can come to get permanent residency in Canada without having a Canada work experience. And for the cost of the program, as highlighted, it's $1,000, 1,000 some amount. It's there. And again, this slide, I will talk to Dr. Peter. If he give us the permission, we'll be definitely able to convert it to PDF and share on the WhatsApp group as well as on the email. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm just going to be highlighting some questions now on the screen, and we'll just see if you can help us answer it. So it says is it fastest finger for the application?
Definitely. Definitely is going to be fastest finger. And that's why we advise our clients, right? Listen, here's the great thing. It starts at midnight. Usually it's at midnight, right? The last time we did a program like this, we're lucky that it took a few days for it to get filled up because many people didn't have the experience. And then they used to ask for 2 years or 1 year experience. At 6 months, nearly anyone will qualify. And I think just I know this is not the question that someone asked me. I'm just gonna bunch it together, okay? It is fastest finger, yes. And you can combine your experience from different employers. It's not saying that you must have been full time while you were working in the past, okay? The full time work experience is the job offer you're going to get in Canada. Outside Canada, you could have been part time here and part time there. You could have been full time here for 5 months and then 1 month you're part time somewhere else. Okay, just keep that in mind. So it is fastest finger. Once in the last application, the government counted the number of applications by how many profiles were created, not necessarily by how many were submitted. Okay, I hope you understand that. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
create your profile with them as soon as possible. You can get ready right now by creating your IRCC account. So there's a PR portal for permanent that is for permanent residents, and this is where usually you can create your own application. All right. If you have a lawyer, your lawyer can create one for you on their own portal. But I'm just going to show you what that page looks like. Um, Let me share my screen 1 second. Okay. So although this one here, I'm not sure I'll be able to log in. So this is what the government's portal looks like. Okay. Our own portal for lawyers is different, and unfortunately I can't open that because other clients' information is going to be there. But you need to create your own account. This is not the same as the GC key portal. Okay, it's not the same as the portal where you apply for your visitor visa. It's a different portal for PR applications. So you need to go there. This is what it looks like, and I will post the link in the private chat if just a moment. I'll put this in the private chat if we're able to do this. Okay, so we
okay. So yeah, thank you, sir. So this person is asking, can we have Mr. Peter's contact? So
uh
I've
yeah,
posted your link.
okay, yes,
Yeah,
that's the link right there. You can
yeah,
click on that to book a consultation. We try we come to a consultation at time, and during the consultation we can answer any question you have about this program. Okay,
yeah.
so you can go ahead book an appointment with that link.
Yeah, so yeah, guys, you can see the message on the school message. So it's bit.ly/Canada Consult, and it takes you straight to a link to reach out to Mr. Peter. So again, guys, this is a pilot program that has never been introduced. This is the first time it's been introduced, and we do not know how many people will be required to actually get this portal. Just like Mr. Peter have said, he said the number is not about those who submitted the application. If somebody just wake up by that time and creates a portal, automatically that number is taken. Like, okay, slot 4 has been taken, slot 5 has been taken. So if you know that, okay, you can do it by yourself, it's fine. We actually encourage that. DIY method is actually fine. But if you know, like, you're like, okay, I actually have all the documents, but I want somebody to just go through to say, okay, my job letter that I have, is it actually the right one? My English proficiency, is it actually the right one? And you like to just like, okay, I want to have a document review with a consultant, then you can actually click on that link. Then also, if you want somebody to say, you know what, I need a full representation of somebody who's going to handle this application for me from beginning to the end. Somebody who's going to be your liaison person within the IOCC, somebody who's going to be your official representative on your application form. Then you should also do well to click on that link as well. As of today, if I ask on the comment section, do any of you know where you're going to use to apply for this caregiver program? For those of you in Canada or those outside Canada, like how many of you know the website to actually apply for this program as of today? If you know the website, put it on the comment section. So if you know the website where you need, like, okay, once this program starts now, this is the website I'm going to use to apply. Put it on the comment section. So again, these are like details that they are not out there. YouTubers, TikTokers, many of us were just sharing those information, but these are the people who actually get first stand. Mr. Peter is not just an immigration lawyer; he's registered and licensed with the Canada Immigration Body that actually issue people licensure to work as regulated immigration consultant. So he's an immigration consultant and also a lawyer in immigration law in Ontario and in Alberta. So if you want somebody to review your application, if you want somebody to be your full representative, kindly do well to click on that link. All right. So we're going to take more questions. So Mr. Peter, we still have like 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you. So this
Okay.
person, yeah, this person say, um, can we have Mr. Peter contact that has been taken? Email address. Can we have Mr. Peter email address? Is that okay, sir?
So if you book the consultation, you'll be connected to me via email.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. Okay. All right. That's fine. So it says, what document will a family member offering you a job offer be presenting?
Good. This is actually a very good question. So, in the last round of invitations, it didn't quite matter if it was a family member anyway. The condition is that they're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Okay. And they have somebody who needs care in their home. In the past, the last time there was a gaining experience category, uh, they did actually release a job offer form. Okay, because they have not made any specific announcement and because they've not opened up the portal, we cannot say for sure whether that would be allowed. I think I can go back into the portal and then just download. Let me see if I can still trace the very last form that was used. Okay, and the last time this form was updated was 2024. I cannot tell you 100%, okay, that it is going to be the same form that's going to be used. IRCC has this habit of changing forms from every application and also reusing some particular one. Let me see. Just give me a second, please. I just want to show you, you folks, what that form may look like.
All
Uh,
right, sir.
yeah,
Meanwhile, somebody is asking, is PT's English proficiency accepted?
I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry, I do Canadian immigration right now. In
Yeah.
Canada, language tests accepted are IELTS General or CELPIP General. For the French, it's the TEF or the TCF. All right. All those other ones are not part of. They're not part of what IRCC has indicated that they will accept. Again, unless it changes, but typically, no.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Let me just change what I have on the screen so everyone can see this. Oh, I think I've lost the window. Just a second, please, guys. Um, Okay, so I'm going to uh, just a second. It's for some reason it's not letting me pull up a PDF.
Okay, no problem, sir. We can send it to them on the group or via email through
Okay,
registration portal. Yeah,
all right then.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, I have it now. So this is what the form looked like the very last time. If you had to use a form, I think someone needs to. Can you put the presentation on stage, please?
The presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's up now. There we go. All right. So I don't know how clear this is, but we can say that this is what it looked like before. Okay. Now that the pilot has definitely been changed, you can see the form had dates on this application. So it is likely it's going to look different for this year. But they would ask for their name, what is your relationship to the person. You see this. So I know someone asked, how do we do it uh, for a family member? The form anticipates that people are going to be hiring their brothers and sisters and all that. Okay.
Mm.
Why are you hiring a caregiver? You see that, right? How are you currently meeting those needs? Like, do you hire somebody already? How did you find this person? Have you hired a caregiver before? So these are all questions that are meant to qualify, right? To see that this person really needs a caregiver and they're not just trying to use the immigration system. Okay.
Okay.
This form is about 5 pages. It's very detailed. We can't go through all of it, but
Okay, sir.
it will think about how much are they going to pay you, how often are they paying you, are you going to live in their house, are you going to take their family member to take care of them in your own house, or you're going to do it at their premises. The form
Okay.
is quite detailed, and if there's a new one coming up, then likely yes,
All right,
it's
sir.
accepted. All
Thank you.
right.
It says can a refugee claimants in Canada apply?
That's an interesting question. And to be honest, I can't say I know that right now, but I can just get the short answer to that and give it to principal afterwards. So I guess contact principal.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
It says are those in long-term care people who currently work as personal support worker qualify for this?
Yes and no. Okay. What they want is that the job that you're going to do is not going to be in a long term care home. You're going to provide this care to the patient in their own home. Do you understand? Or in your own home. So they're not trying to hire institutional nurses or caregivers. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Let me see if I can pull up that page as well. Again, as the government releases more details, we're going to find out again more. There is a little. So if you look at, I think I have this window open. There we go. Okay. So if you look at the NOC code, right, 44101. All right. It says they provide care in the client's residence where they may also reside. Do you see this? So, in general, the caregiver pathways don't contemplate caring for somebody in an institutional setting. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you look at also the previous um, application, all right. So this was the qualifying experience. You must have cared for children in your own home, okay, or you must have cared for someone who needs help in your employer's private home. The location couldn't be an institutional setting, such as a nursing home. So a PSW, yes, could qualify if you are being posted to work in the client's home. Like I guess is it what they call it? Is it community nursing? There's a name they call it. I don't remember.
Yeah, in Canada or outside Canada.
Canada, where like they post the PSW, you make the rounds, you go to the client's house to check on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Community nursing.
Community, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the gaining experience category. So even for both of them, right? It didn't quite matter whether you're doing for children or for um, you know, or for adults. It's just that it has to be in a private setting. So many times the or I see Ogechi's comments. Many times people were denied for this reason, right? They were PSWs. They performed the work of a personal support worker, but that work was only performed in a long-term care home, and because of that, they were found not to be eligible. Okay, so please let's keep that in our minds. It's usually easier in this program if somebody is hiring to come and take care of them in their own house. All right, great. I see the last question. I'll just take this because it's right there. It says, I'm in the express entry pool using a different NOC. Can I still apply for caregiver? The short answer is yes. If you can demonstrate the experience, right? To say I had 6 months, and usually, if you didn't, if you put that experience to express entry, it will not give you any points anyway. You know what I mean? If this was a part-time job or whatever. So if there is no clash there if you can prove that you have the experience. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So someone is asking for discount for consultation fee. Any special offer tonight, sir?
No, that is content, unfortunately, and
Okay. Okay.
there is a lot to handle. You
I
know,
know. I know. I know.
talk to Prince. Maybe Prince can give you a discount. He can pay for you. You can pay the price.
I'm doing my best already to bring you here to answer questions for free. I mean, yeah, I've been able to use my own influence to pull you out of your office to come here to talk to our people for 2 hours. I mean, we are already permanent resident, but we need to continue to support those who are here to become permanent resident in Canada, outside Canada, to get as much update and information that can actually bring them up to speed as well. So yeah, this is the best I can do for now. Yeah. Yeah. So, sir, we'll just take two more questions, then we'll call it a wrap. And now I'm going to conclude if you don't mind, please.
Go
It
ahead.
says, yeah, how long are you tied to an employer after getting the PR?
So there is no time. The reason is that as a permanent resident, you have what we call mobility rights, right? Nobody can force you to work for somebody. That's slavery. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
However, you have to show that you genuinely want to work, and obviously, if if you don't actually go and work, people can just get angry and say they're sending a report to the government, right? That you didn't do what you contracted to do. You could be sued. If
Sure.
you could be sued if you agreed to come and work for this time, and they've fronted, maybe they've paid for your application and stuff, and then you now refuse to work, you might be sued. Please, if you're not planning to work, don't use this stream. I beg you. Leave it for people who really want to work. There's so much else you can do.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Last question. It says, can a registered nurse qualify for this program? I'm taking this as an international nurse.
A nurse can qualify. Look, let me go back to that page again. Okay, I'm there.
Okay.
So
Toby, can you post the page, please, so you can share? It's not shared now.
this is the requirement. Okay, if you want to work in this stream, you need to have bare minimum secondary school. Okay.
Yeah.
If you have first aid certification, so first aid, CPR. Some people even have behavioral intervention, like or like preventing self harm, and all of those things. Those are very, very helpful. You can use them. Okay. If you have a training, this includes care of the elderly, care of persons with disabilities, and I cannot imagine that a trained nurse is unable to do this job. Prince, you can tell me. I mean, you're a nurse, right? And
Yeah.
you know about this field. Would a nurse require extra training to be a PSW?
No, 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 no. In fact, in Ontario,
Mhm.
where other people are expected to go for 6 months training to become PSW, if you're an international trained nurse, let's say from Nigeria, Ghana, the moment you step your foot in Ontario, you can get a job as a PSW without getting a PSW certificate.
Mm.
Yeah, so you don't need extra training to be a PSW if you're an international trained nurse in Ontario.
Exactly. So that's good. For Ramon has asked this question several times. The answer is yes. It doesn't matter whether you got that application, whether you got your experience when you're working full time or part time. You could have done full time. You could have done part time. You can combine the experience both full time and part time. You could have worked for multiple employers. You could have been self employed part of the time, or or all of the time. It doesn't matter who employed you. It doesn't matter whether you did it full time or part time. What matters is you perform the duties of a caregiver. You perform them for 6 months, and you can prove it. Now, I talked about how you can prove it. You can get a letter. So, in some case, in fact, in the last round, a point came when they said even volunteer experience could be accepted. This was in the last round that was done. I don't know that that's going to be the case because it was just a program update. Okay. Obviously, paid experience is better. If you volunteered and you want to add it to the experience that you already have, still add it. It's not irrelevant. Okay. So if you work for someone doing the job, provide a letter. Let's say it was a private home. Get a detailed letter making sure it states you did this job, you did those jobs for at least 6 months, and you were qualified to do the job when you did it. All right. Get your employment letter. Get your pay stubs if you are paid for the job. All right. Pay stubs or pay slips. If you have tax documents from that employer, like a T4 if you're in Canada, or whatever the statement of earnings are in other countries, get your tax information too if it shows the name of your employer, who you worked for. If you don't have any of this, but you have a contract that was signed between you and the person, for that, especially if you're self-employed, get the contracts you signed with the people before you did the job. Okay, so job letter, contract that was signed, reference letter if you work for a private individual. If you are self-employed, you can also bring invoices that you gave to your clients for the work that was performed. That's another,
Okay.
you can prove this. You can bring your bank statements if you are receiving payments, right? You say, oh, this person was paying me every 2 weeks and I have it in my bank statements. You could use that to prove that you've worked. Um, to about medicals, I would say yes, you can get the medicals expire after 1 year. So you have to be careful if you've not already put your application in, or if they've not opened the one for the country you live in. If you're in Canada, yes, get it now. If you're not in Canada, I would say wait until that pathway is opened. Um, what else? Let's see. I think I've answered all the questions.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Peter. A round of applause for Mr. Peter. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Mr. Peter loves nurses, he loves healthcare workers, and is a big, big supporter of everybody who's looking forward to advance their life, advance their career, and of course, is your surest plug when it comes to immigration law regarding Canada. If you have more questions, more clarification, please do want to take advantage of the book me consultation link on your school. Reach out to him. You want him to review your documents, you want him to be your full representative, and do it to shoot him the message through that link as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. It was really, really, really nice having you here tonight. I'm super excited hosting you on our YouTube channel, and I'm very, very sure that the nurses are very, very well excited about having you here tonight as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
For
Thank you.
the rest of the questions, if you're able to get them, I will still try my best to provide answers to Principal.
All right.
If you leave comments on this video, I guess until the end of today, you can sort of get them to me, and I will answer those questions.
Thank
So
you, sir.
someone asked about whether a refugee can apply. I have to confirm this one.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Yes, and
Thank
have a
you.
good one.
Have a great day. We'll let you go catch some rest now. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys. That was Mr. Peter. Mr. Peter Adamu. Um, he has been here with us for the past 1 hour. So I'm seeing some repeated questions. Somebody's asking about the band score, asking about salary. So in case you joined the YouTube live late, do want to catch a replay. The link is going to be saved on this YouTube channel. So at your free time, at your spare time, your leisure time, you can just go back to click on the replay. And for nurses, this is just for me to you, okay? For me to you. If you are a nurse, let's say you are in Nigeria now, you are in Ghana now, you are in Sierra Leone, you are in Nepal, you are in India, you're in Philippines. There's something that's happening in Canada right now that I think many nurses are not taking advantage of. Okay, so let me tell you something about express entry. So there's a pathway to come to Canada where they call express entry. It's like one of the most popular pathway to become a permanent resident in Canada. In fact, in England, in USA, in Australia, in name it, Ireland or Northern Ireland, only very few. I don't personally. I don't know. For England, I don't even know. I don't know of any pathway that will allow you travel from Nigeria. That on the first day you step out of the air carrier or the flight that drop you in Canada, you become a permanent resident. I don't know of any other country that offer that. Most people who travel out, they get a work visa, they get a visitor visa, they get a study visa. But Canada is one of those few countries that actually have a pathway where you become a permanent resident on the day you arrive on the soil. And that's through the Express Entry Program. So, guys, this is what I want you to take advantage of. So, for the Express Entry Program, 2 years ago, Canada government introduced what we call category-based express entry system. Again, I'm not an immigration consultant, I'm not a lawyer. I'm sharing this information and can be actually verified from any public website through the IRCC. So Canada introduced category-based express entry draw where people who are in healthcare, people who can speak French, and people who are in STEM profession were given priority in the express entry application. So normally, let's say every month, if Canada do what we call draw, so they do a draw like let's say they say if you have 500 score in your CRS, if you have a CRS score of 500, you are invited to submit an application to become a permanent resident in Canada. That's like the usual. You say, okay, they do a score, they do a draw of 520, they do a draw of 530, 540, 525. They do this draw sometimes monthly, sometimes bi-weekly. Okay. But since when they introduced the category-based express entry draw, we've seen that the people who are coming in through the category-based draw, they lower the score. So for example, if they are doing a healthcare draw, like the last four healthcare draw they've done, none of them have been higher than 450. In fact, the last one they did was 440 something. Okay, you can check that out. So they did a draw of 440 something. They've done in healthcare, they've done a draw for 430 something. I think it was 436 in healthcare. Why other people who studied other professions, who have BSc, MSc, let's say in petroleum engineering or in administration, in management, they have to go to the general especially of struggling to get like 500 and above. But for you, because you are a nurse and you qualify under the healthcare category, they have a special um, they have a special priority for people who are in the shortage of job skill by actually reducing their express entry score. So, for example, if you can speak French, we've seen CRS score of even less than 400 for those who can speak French. For example, you come from Cameroon. Let's say if you're not here on this life, and you come from Cameroon, or you come from Cote d'Ivoire, or you come from any of those French francophone speaking countries in Africa, you have the highest chance of qualifying to be in Canada as a permanent resident. So, guys, there's what we call CRS score calculator. So today on this live, while you're on this live now, just put your laptop on your phone, go on your Google and type CROS score calculator. On that CROS score calculator, it's going to ask you put in your age, put in your marital status, put in your IELTS results. If you've not taken IELTS, just assume that okay, I think I can score 7, I can score 8 in the various module. They're going to ask you your highest level of education. They're going to ask you your years of work experience. They're going to ask you, do you have any job in Canada or not? If you do that CRS calculator, and especially if you are under 30, or you've done a BSc or you've done a master's, you have a very, very high chance. Even if you've not done a master's, but if you go on that service calculator and you realize that you score up to like 420, 430, 450, it's a very, very good opportunity for you to be invited to apply for permanent residence in Canada. And guess what? You don't have to pay to be on this express entry pool. You do not need to pay any money to be on the express entry pool, to apply on the express entry pool. All you need to probably pay is probably the money you're going to need to write your IELTS exam and the money you're going to use to do your ECA evaluation. So the major two things you need as a nurse from Nigeria to be on that express entry pool are number one, English proficiency, okay? English proficiency, in IELTS, CELP, or PTE. So for the person that asks about PTE, PTE is actually person view test of English language. It has been actually introduced to IOCC in 2024. So in 2024, PTE became one of the accredited English providers for express entry. So just like where we have the IATS, the CELP, now PT can also be used as well. So if you've written PT, pretty much fine for you as well. Okay. So what you need to be on that express entry is number one, have your proof of English proficiency, and number two, evaluation of your highest degree. Okay, so let's say if you did RN, RM, then you went to LAUTECH, evaluate only on LAUTECH. Okay, but if you did RM, RN, you did BSc, then you went to Afe Babalola University to do your masters. Evaluate only your masters. Evaluate only your highest degree. Okay, don't evaluate masters, BSc. No. Okay, evaluate your highest degree only. So why I evaluating it is that they want to see that the knowledge or education you've received from your home country is equivalent to, is it equivalent to 4 years training? Is it equivalent to 5 years training? Does it meet at par with Canada curriculum or standard? Like what's the qualification? How can it be quantified? Okay, they are trying to quantify your degree against what is needed for you to be on the express entry pool. So guys, those are the only two things you need: IHES result and ECA evaluation. And for the ECA evaluation, you can use WES. After this website, you can go, after this video, you go online and go on wes.org, or you go on University of Toronto CES. Okay, University of Toronto CES is the one I use for mine because I had a degree before leaving Nigeria. Then if you do not have a degree, let's say you have only AWN or you have only AWM, so you can use IQAS, okay? IQUAS. Okay, IQAS, they kind of give you a good rating if you finish from a certification program, like a non-degree program. Basically, let's say you did like RN or RM, they can actually help you qualify. But do not go and use WES for RN. If you have only RN, don't use WES. Don't use University of Toronto if you have only RN. So use IQAS, or use what we call ICES. Okay, ICES. So go on iquas.org or ICES.org. Which IETS? General Academic, General. Okay, so guys, for Canada immigration under express entry, you use IETS General. Then probably where you will now come in and say, you know what, I want to continue practicing as a nurse. You want to check the requirement to be a nurse. Then you can check, okay, let's say Alberta, they might say, okay, we want you to do IELTS, or you come to Ontario, they want to submit IELTS result, probably that will be academic. But for the immigration, it's actually general. Okay. So I'm going to take some few questions. I still have I can stay here in 15 minutes. I still have some time. Yeah, University of Toronto CES. Yeah, University of Toronto CES. That's what I use for my own degree. So guys, you can send in your questions about the express entry, and if you are on the WhatsApp group, most of the resources shared by Mr. Peter today, I'm going to be forwarding them on the group as well. So the PDF, the consultation link, and every other thing. And Toby has been with me so far. I want to say thank you, Toby. Toby has been on the back end, helping us out with technical stuff and everything. Thank you so much. So it says, what if I have BNSC from Nigeria and postgraduate certificate from Canadian College? So what does that mean? Basically, I'm trying to understand. So what if I have BSc from Nigeria and postgraduate certificate from Canadian College? Okay, so under the express entry, there's a part where they'll say, let me see if I can share screen here. Mm, okay. I don't think I can share my screen, Toby. Can I guys, shout out to Toby. Toby has been on the back end helping us with technical stuff, and he's been awake. I'm keeping him from sleeping. He's also a nurse too in England, and he's been supporting us and everything that we do. Thank you, Toby. I really appreciate you for helping us on back end. So I was just wondering, is it possible for me to share my screen,
Um,
or can you share yours?
yes, you should be able to share your screen if you use the present feature.
Okay,
The
so I can
last
see,
option on the
so I
present.
can see media asset style scenes banners.
Okay, just on the panel where you have your camera, mutes, settings, and things like that.
Okay, settings, general camera, audio recording, layout, guest. Okay. Anyway, I don't think I can do it now, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Thank you. So, it said I use iCast for my hour end. What about that, Prince? We please. So, this person he said he used iCast for his hour end. What about that? So we have various evaluation boards, all right? So ICAS, ICES, IQUAS. So for ICAS, you could actually call them, follow up, and see what exactly is happening. So are you waiting for a response, or are you asking if that's a good option? I'm just saying from my own knowledge that it's most preferred if you actually use the ICES and the IQUAS. So using ICAS is not bad. Using University of Toronto is not bad. Or using West is not bad. It's just that most of them might not be able to evaluate non-degree program and give you quantify your degree effectively. So I don't think ICAS is bad as long as you get a qualification at the end of the day and they give you an evaluation report. So what is the expected IELTS score? So for express entry, I believe you're asking this. For express entry, let me highlight that. So for express entry, basically, if you're writing IELTS, the total score you can get is 9. So try your best to score at least 7 or 8 in all the module, especially the listening part. So if you can score 8 in listening, it's very, very good. So try and score at least 8, or the least you score should be 7. Okay, because the higher the IELTS score, the higher your point in the express entry. So let's create a scenario. If somebody score 7.57, 7.57, that person IELTS score can just be like, let's say, 35. But when that person score 8, 8.5, 8, 8.5, that person's score can be, let's say, 43. So 43 and 35, that's the difference of 7. And most times they can just do a draw of 455. And your express entry CRS score is actually 450. So as little as 5 score can actually be a big decider to receiving invitation to become permanent resident or not. So you want to take advantage, you want to max out your IELTS score, you want to make sure you take advantage of the IELTS. And trust me, guys, IELTS general is less technical than the one we write to become nurses in England. So the IELTS academic is way technical compared to the IELTS general. So in layman terms, it's actually less easier than the IELTS academic. Okay, so yeah, that's for the expected IELTS score. What if I'm still? What of if I'm? What if I'm still? Okay, I need to drink water for this one. What if I am still? Wow, do I have to wear glasses? I'm trying to understand this question. What if I am currently doing my BSc nursing? What if I'm still currently doing my BSc nursing and I want to evaluate my results? Should I evaluate my RN alone or wait to complete my BSc? It depends on the level. So if you are completing a 3 years BSc program and you're the first year, then evaluate your RN alone. But if you're on your final year, and let's say you are like just 2 months to go or 3 months to go, then you should wait to finish it before you actually evaluate it, because for the evaluation they're going to need your certificate of completion, they're going to need your transcript most importantly. So will your transcript be ready as a trade one to finish your university degree? That's the question you should be asking. So will your transcript be ready? Will your, will your will your transcript be ready 3 months to completion? That's another question you need to ask yourself very importantly. Okay, so is it possible to make payment for HSW before I submit my application? Is it possible to make payments for HSW before I submit my application? I think for every application process, you need to complete the data information first, your personal information, your document requirements, your filling of the forms. Okay, so after you complete all the data or information requested of you, the final part is now, are you sure the information you've inputted is correct and you don't have any more changes to make? Then you say, no, everything is correct and fine. Then you click submit. So when you click submit, it then takes you to the payment page. So the payment is usually the last thing that you do. So you must have completed the form, started the application. So you don't need to like say, oh, I need to pay to start. No, you just open the profile, create your account, and you can navigate the website. So payment comes at the end most times. Okay. It says, thank you, sir, Toby. All right. Thank you, sir, Toby. Yeah. Thank you, Toby. You are welcome. We appreciate you. I'm asking if it's a good option. Okay. My middle name is omitted in my ECA. Will that be a problem when applying, please? Okay, your middle name is omitted in your ECA. So probably this person trying to say every other document, let's say every other document you're going to be submitting, let's say your job reference letter, your English certification license, English certification exam, have your middle name and first name. I don't think it's actually a big problem as long as you have your first name and your last name. Okay, if at any point they ask you that, oh, there's what they call ADR. If at any point they think they're having issue with your name, they're going to ask for an ADR. ADR means additional document request. So they're then going to ask you like, okay, can you provide clarity on why this person and this person, can you show us proof that it's the same person? So in that type of case, you can just quickly go to a high commission, any of the office or court in Nigeria and get what they call what's it call it? Affidavit. Okay, just one affidavit. I think it's less than 200. That was when I was in Nigeria. I don't know. So just you go and write an affidavit. So the affidavit will come something like, this is to certify that the bearer, Etinosa Aredo, and Etinosa Princeway Aredo are the same person. Any documentation where either is replaced should automatically be assumed to be the same person. Something like that. So you can just research online and see affidavit format and swear an affidavit like, okay, Etinosa Aredo, Etinosa Princeway Aredo, Echonsa Aredo Princeway, Aredo Echonsa Princeway. In any case, these names are used actually represent the same person. And sometimes the middle name can be omitted for purpose of like for space on things like that. So yeah, it's not a problem. You submit your document, don't say, oh, because my name is omitted, I want to now hold myself back. No, don't hold yourself back. Submit it, okay? Then if at all, then that's okay. You know what? We want to know who exactly this person is. Then the request for an ADR whether you can submit an affidavit. It says, please, can PT score be used for express entry? Yes, we've answered that. So for express entry, we have three tiers that have been allowed in Canada now. So we have IATS, International English Language Testing System. We have the CELPIP, then we have the Perseverance Test of English, PTE. So those three are currently used by RSCC. Eva Banjo, okay, she's laughing. For RON, do I evaluate both certificates or just RON, please? Okay, this is a special case. So for those that have ROM, you will notice that when you are filling, when you go online and you do that, when you go online and you use that CRS calculator, you will notice that there's a place where they'll ask you, do you have two or more professional certificates? There's a special column for that and say, do you have two or more professional certificates? So at that point, it's advisable to evaluate both of them because both of them, instead of you getting a degree qualification of 3 years, you can then get something of like 4 years or 5 years, which actually give you more points. Somebody who has 3 years qualification for their degree and somebody who has 5 years qualification for their degree is actually two different points. So I would strongly advise you to evaluate both of them. That's if you do not have a BSc. So if you have just RN and RM, evaluate both of them using IQUAS or ICAS. Okay. What is the age limit for the Canada Express entry? So there's no age limit for Canada Express entry, although there are advantages for people who are young. So again, this express entry is about points, right? So let's say somebody has BSc. If somebody has BSc, I'm just giving an advantage. I'm just giving an example. I'm not telling what it means. So somebody who has BSc, if the person going on the express entry, that person's BSc can be 3 points. But if somebody now say, okay, I actually have a master's, that person who have master's can be 5.5 points. Someone else say, me, I have PhD, The person who have PhD can be 7.4 points. Do you get? So each category has point system. So you might be very, very old in terms of your age. So let's look at the age category. So for example, if you are like 0 to 25 years, 0 to 29 years, you have the highest advantage because they believe that you still have active 30 to 35 years to put into the labor force. Okay, you still have like, so meaning that if you are 60 or you are 55, you are still very much active to give 30 years of your life into the Canada workforce. Okay, so that's why they are prioritizing those who are from 0 to 29. Okay, but if you are from 30 and above, let's say you're like 50, you're still going to get a point. You're not going to say, okay, because I'm 50, no point. No, you're going to get a point. But when somebody who is 31 is scoring like, let's say, 40 points, who you are like, let's say 52, you're going to be getting like 18 points or 17 points or 21 points. You get probably like half of the person who scored 30. So it's not like you're not going to get any points. You can actually get a point, but because you are a little bit older in age, it actually reduces your points. So that's how the age category work. So um just RON sister, you don't need to evaluate your ROM for now. Okay, I think this person is trying to advise the person who's asking for RON and ROM. Yeah, you can read more on that. But again, there's a section that asks, do you have 2 or more professional certification? So I think that will give you 5 years in total if you have the money to evaluate both because it's a little bit expensive. Can I apply with my BSc and NCLEX passed? Can I apply with my BSc and NCLEX passed? Yeah, if it's, I think this person talking about the caregiver program. Yes, you're qualified. You're qualified. I'm registered nurse with NCLEX pass. Can I apply for this, please? Yes, all nurses qualified to apply for this. What's the best route for a UK trained general nurse, please? Best route to what? Okay. Best route to find a husband, best route to build a home, or best route to migrate to Canada? Best route to migrate to Canada, I believe, is the question. I was just filling a link. Well, for a UK graduate, a UK trained general nurse, I think the best route would be coming through the Express Entry platform. Because coming through the Express Entry platform, you are a registered nurse, and it means that you're going to fall under the healthcare category, which means you will not be required to provide the highest CROS score. So, for example, if you have like 450, 445, you probably stand a chance. Okay, you're not going to be scouting for too many scores like those willing to like get 500 to actually get invitation. So that's to give you a chance. Then as a trained nurse, you must have worked for a few years, I believe. So having that international work experience, 2 years, 3 years, actually is a big deal in boosting your score for the CROS profile. So yeah, that can work as well. Please, can I have a drop down by the step-by-step process for our in Nigeria becoming Canada Express Entry? Okay. Please link to apply. Okay. I have RON and BNSC and I've evaluated my BNSC with West. However, my BNSC is almost 2 years and 8 years work experience with RON. So which body can I evaluate my RON to have more score in Express Entry? I have RON and BSc. Good, meaning that you are a degree holder. Okay. And I've evaluated my BNSC with West. Good. If you've evaluated your BNSC with West, that's fine. My BNSC is almost 2 years. West evaluation does not expire in 2 years. Only IHS expire in 2 years. West evaluation lasts as much as 5 years. Okay, you can check that out. West evaluation does not expire after 2 years. So if that's your concern, you should know that West evaluation does not expire after 2 years. Only IHS expire after 2 years. So if that's your main concern, I think that's answered. Link to the account opening, sir. Account opening of what? Which of the account opening? Is it for the caregiver pilot or express entry? If it's for express entry, go on YouTube and research on that. It's very easy. How will it take? How will it take if I apply through express entry? How will it take? How will it take? Okay. I don't know what it means. Probably you can retype it. Can international educated nurses apply for the pilot program? Yes, all nurses are qualified to apply. So registered nurses are not qualified to apply for the upcoming caregiver program in pilot. Please, I joined late. Kindly watch the replay. You're going to get all the information you missed. Please, where do I start? I must be in Canada within 2 years. Yes, it's possible. Everything you can imagine is real. It starts from getting access to information, consulting the right people, watching the right YouTube channels, and associating with the right people that can actually give you the information you need to achieve your dream. Being in Canada in 2 years is very, very much possible. We are just in March. In fact, it can even be here before Christmas. So, like I said, everything you can imagine is true. Just link up with the right people who got knowledge about this. Can a graduate nurse with BSc and NCLEX pass apply for this? Yes. Thank you, Mr. Prince. You're welcome, Kelvin. I have RON and BNSC, and I've evaluated my BNSC with Wes. However, my BNSC is almost 2 years and 8 years work experience with RON. So which body can I evaluate my RON to have more score in express entry? Okay, you can do ICAS, but do you need to do that again? Because you've only evaluated your highest degree. So maybe now you're looking at combining a degree and a certificate. Well, I don't know if you're going to get more points with that, but evaluating your highest degree is already enough. But if you want to go ahead, you use ICES, or IQAS. Um, okay. It says, am I missing some comments? So yes, general IELTS. Oh, okay. I think I missed many messages. Oh, okay. So I have IHS academic and scored band 8. Do I need to write another general? Yes. For Canada Express entry, IHS general is required. Okay. So, but for some we move to UK, we use academic. Then when we came here, we actually had to do general for permanent residency. I have 3 to 5 more minutes to stay here, guys. Can the graduate nurse with BSc apply? Yes. I've answered this before. I have IHS band 8. Do I need to write another IHS general? Yes. Yes, please. Yes. Okay, I think these are all the questions. Please talk about police clearance certificate with Peter and share with us. So what do you know about police clearance certificate? Police clearance certificate, basically now you can just apply online if you are from Nigeria. You get your police character certification. I think it's 60,000 now. So, but just that it expires after 3 months. So it's good that you already, like, for example, let's say in May, or let's say in March, they say, okay, the caregiver pathway for international applicant opens in May or in April. Then you should go get it. But now we do not know if we're going to open in April, May, June, or July. We don't know. So if you go get it now, it means that by June it's expired already. So wait for the time you're going to need to apply, except in for other purpose. Does that mean that a nurse with experience working in institutions only and not care home cannot apply for the caregiver? No, that's not what it means. Okay. All right. I think these are all the comments. Thank you so much, guys, for joining tonight. It was really a pleasure hosting this with Mr. Toby, as well as hosting Mr. Peter Ademu. So we're going to be posting more follow-up information on the WhatsApp group and through your emails as well. Okay. Thank you very much and hope you have a beautiful evening. Toby, thank you so much, brother. Thank you
Yeah.
for staying
Thank you.
on through. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Presby. It's been a very long time. I really missed doing this with you. Thank you for
I
the
know,
privilege
I
again.
know, I know. Yeah, more to come, more to come, more to come, more
Yeah.
to come. Yeah,
All
okay.
right. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.